in life.
Say win. Win. All right, folks. We're only a few minutes late. Y'all forgive us. 6:06. So
My fault.
for us, it's pretty good.
Oh no, it's Chris's fault because he's here.
Oh, okay. We can blame Chris.
Okay.
Chris is the bottom.
Chris is always late.
Oh, that's true. You know, he did establish that reputation
Yes,
early on
yes,
when he worked,
yes.
especially Sunday mornings.
Yes.
Oh, funny how late Sunday mornings always follow those restful Saturday nights.
But that's crazy because he doesn't have to be here at 8 on Sunday morning, so you'd think he would be on time because he didn't have to be here till 9. That makes no sense to me.
Well, it's hard to make sense to you anyway.
That is true. That is true. You have a point. That is very true.
So we're going to get on something right. I've already had several people call and ask me about this. The secret language of professional dog trainers. Any idea what I'm talking about, Kara?
No, because apparently I'm not a professional.
Okay.
I have a secret language, but it ain't that. You don't want to know my secret
No,
language.
we don't repeat it on live, okay?
Nope, it's not for people's ears.
So all right, so just give me the impression when you came here because you'd gone to another trainer and had problems that didn't work. Okay, I've heard that story. So do you remember any, and I know it's a while back, so if you don't remember, don't say it. Do you remember any of the, for lack of a better phrase, sales pitch or the jargon that he threw at you when he was trying to get you to, pay him money and get your dog?
I don't really remember. I just remember it was the first place I went to. So he talking to me, it sounded great.
Right, sounded great.
Yeah.
And then later on, as you were going back to him, you had some troubles. And did he ever he said, what was it?
My dog was lunging at children.
Yeah.
And then how to correct that problem.
Right, and his answer was?
Well, there's no children up there, so I don't have to worry about that.
Okay. So what?
But there's children in my home.
True story.
Yeah,
True story.
that's what he told me.
So and by the way, the usual sound problem, folks, we're going off the camera mic because we didn't get ours ready in time. So if we're not coming through, let us know. We're going to try and speak up for you. So this guy had an answer, even whether you liked it or not, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty common. If you're dealing with dog training people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this got me going. It's been a pet peeve of mine for a long time because there's a lot of terms and phrases that people that are in the dog business use, and to me, they don't make any sense. But it dawned on me at one point that what happens is there's an old saying amongst some of the cowboys, if you don't know how to tie knots, you just tie a lot, right? So these guys, if they're trying to sell their services to you, they may not know exactly how to answer your questions, so they just make a whole bunch of answers, a whole bunch of words. And of course, you're not going to sit there and say, oh, duh, what does that mean? Because you're the professional. You're going to take the word for it.
Because we don't know better.
Yeah, exactly. How would you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples that I ran across this week that really is the reason we're doing this particular topic. Most of the phrases and terms that are going to be used by the upper level trainers, I mean, they're really, they've accomplished a lot in the sport world. Most of the phrases they're going to use are going to have or sound like, or maybe do actually have a psychological base. Okay. Drives is the first thing that comes to mind. And of course, psychologically, we have 3 drives. Dog training wise, we have 27 drives. So they're going to tell you your dog doesn't have enough hunt drive, or he's lacking pack drive, or maybe you need more Sunday drive, in your dog. And you're going to go, oh, okay, because there's no way for you to know any different. So what you want to do is you want to listen closely, and really to find a good dog trainer is just about kind of your gut feeling and being able to understand what they're saying. Here's a perfect example. There's a term that's used a lot. There's a positive correction and a negative correction. What does that sound like to you, Karen?
Well, positive correction, I don't think even sounds like a correction.
Okay?
Well, because correction, you have to have something. When I think of correction, it's something that the dog doesn't like. So
Okay.
that would be negative to the dog, I guess, but not really
Positive.
positive. So I don't know how you do positive correction.
Okay? So, if you go to the ultimate expert, and I'm taking what you're saying, but the average person looking to train for the first time is not going to ask that question. So, if you go to a dictionary, or if you go to the greatest expert on holder of all knowledge, if you go to Google and you put in positive correction, you'll come up for dogs. You'll come up with definitions or explanations of the term correction and how corrections are used in dogs, and then you'll have another list of saying positive training methods. Never shall you find the two together.
Yeah.
So then I put in negative corrections for dogs. And everything listed for Google through 8 pages that I went flipping through, the word negative didn't even hardly show up. Now there's corrections again, but none of them were negative. So according to Google, that phrase put together means nothing. So here's the definition that I was told. And you know, you're talking to somebody and you'll ask them, you know, why you're having trouble with your dog, and they'll say, well, here's another. This is another great one. Train's talking about the word no. And you have to be careful. This is a very popular belief. You don't want negative things over the things that you want your dog to do positively, right? Like his obedience training. You don't want any of that with the new all positive outlook. You don't want any of that, anything negative associated to his obedience training. So if you've taught him the word no for jumping on your bad behavior, you don't want to use the word no if he's wandering off instead of healing, because healing is an obedience command and has to be all positive. Even though you taught him all that with an electric shock collar, I don't understand how that works. So you're supposed to have one word for correcting disciplinary things, another word for correcting mistakes or things they're willingly, intentionally not doing, like not coming when you call them. And, you know, a long time ago, Pappy, I did something wrong, and he introduced me to the word no. And it was followed by a correction. But it was more of the correction of type that you just mentioned, Carrie.
Yeah.
And you know how long it took me to learn that word no?
2 seconds.
Yeah, about.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then so when you hear the word no, you're like, ooh, I'm gonna stop because I know what comes next.
Exactly. So dogs are not that ignorant. You know, they're capable of thinking, reasoning, figuring things out. You know, if you don't think they can figure things out, come out here and I'll turn Black Bart loose, and you put a hot dog in this trailer and you can watch him run up the steps and open that round knob and come right in and pick it up, and he'll go over, right, Carrie?
Yep.
Or if you wonder why we have chains on all of our gates and locks, it's not to keep dogs in, it's to keep Bart out. Cause
Bart will open every single one of them.
yeah, I mean, so we're not talking about a stupid animal here. And when I say the word no to Bart, he understands it. Now, I'm gonna polish your perception or your definition or perception of the word correction.
We always need to polish everything I say anyways.
So
the world can understand it.
it's butter speak.
That's right.
So a correction, yes, it can be, you know, it should get his attention. There's two elements, I believe, that have to be present for a proper correction. It should be sudden and it should be startling. That's it. Shouldn't be painful, because all you ever learn from ouch is avoidance. Right?
Yep.
So we don't want that. You can use a prong collar and just pop it lightly but quickly. It's sudden and startling.
Yep.
our favorite, our featured biggest, most popular video, how to stop the dog from jumping on you. He jumps on you, hit an air horn, bonk, bonk.
Yep.
Don't let him see it, keep it behind your back, hit it twice, he's going to be suddenly startled. Okay? That's what it takes. A lot of bad behaviors you see are things that dogs, they're getting in the habit of doing it, and you don't stop it soon enough. Remember, they are associative learners. They are land predators, do almost all their success to their ability to associate consequences and behaviors. Now, this is how I talk about dogs, so pardon me if I get too fancy with positive this and negative the other, okay?
Schmanchy.
Yeah, so what that means is, the dog does something good, puppy, chases a lizard, bites into it, got a meal. He just learned that if he chases something that wiggles, he gets a meal, right? He chases a skunk into a cave, he gets a nose full of. He just learned.
Your dog stinks.
Yeah, you avoid black and white creatures at any cost. So it's associative learning. A good behavior gets a good consequence. A negative behavior gets a negative consequence. Your dog is jumping on you, scuff him, suddenly, quickly. Tap him on the top of his nose.
Stomp on his back foot.
Well, yeah.
He's going to associate with jumping on you with something he doesn't like.
Exactly.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. And you always put the word, because remember, what we learned from Pavlov is that if we put a sound to an action, that sound becomes the action. So the dog's jumping on you, and you say the word no, and then you reach back, tap his back toe, pretty soon the word no becomes as powerful as tapping his back toe. And you can say no for anything he's doing wrong, anything you don't want him to do. If he's about to run out the door before you do and you don't want him to, you say no, wait here. You don't have to change it up. If you speak, here's the thing about an expert. If you really know your field, the way someone told me many years ago, if you're an expert fighter jet pilot, you should be able to take a 6-year-old and explain to him the fundamentals of flight in a jet airplane in a way that he can understand it. If you're an expert.
Yeah.
People who think they know more than they know have trouble explaining. So they come up with these long terms, things that will put you off, or at least deter you from asking deeper questions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. My favorite's like when a puppy's biting you.
Uh-huh.
And you say, oh, let's do positive, and you push them off and give them a treat. So what's that teaching your dog, Butch?
The best way to get a treat is to bite my arm.
Thank you. I mean, I have nothing against people that want to do all positive. Nothing against it. But like legit, what are you teaching your dog? Like, you have to correct your dog sometimes. I mean, I don't know. Some of these, I've been watching some of these videos with Butch, and I'd be like, I'm not the expert like Butch is, but we both have this thing like, really? Like, I don't understand. And these people have a lot of followers and I don't know. That's just funny to me. Like, if a puppy's biting you, you tell them no and correct them. Right? Exactly. So they don't keep biting them. I don't understand the pushing them away and giving them a treat, because then that's just going to teach the puppy, ooh, I'm going to bite mommy's arm or daddy's arm, and I'm going to get a treat. I don't understand that.
Simple as that.
I mean, it's simple as that, but these people have millions of followers, so
yeah.
And I've watched some of these people's videos, and I don't get it. I mean, okay, I don't get a lot of stuff, I get that. I'm blonde and I'm me, I get it.
Smart blonde.
That's right.
So we call it a golden retriever.
That's right.
That is a smart blonde, a golden retriever.
But I just don't, some of these things Butch, I don't.
Okay.
I think you should really do your research before you start watching stuff.
And And one thing you might keep in mind is you're talking to people that are, remember, this is your dog. I hope that's your best buddy. And think back. How long have dogs been working with humans?
Oh my gosh, since before time. I mean,
Yeah.
back as far back as I can read, or as far back as they were writing books and stuff.
As far back as they were writing books.
Or whatever.
Even
I mean, you
before
always
that.
hear stuff. And I see like 1800s, like way. I mean, people were. I mean, dealing with dogs.
Roman army had lots of dogs.
And
What
I
year
mean,
was that?
really, you're putting me on a spot like that? Or like 1300?
Yeah, 1300.
Am I right?
Yeah, no.
Whatever. But I mean, and I get it, like people want to do positive stuff with their dogs.
Right.
You know, because they don't want their dog to resent them or whatever.
Right.
I'll tell you right now, I've corrected my dog a couple times because and that dog loves me.
Mm-hmm.
Bullet loves me like he loves no other. That's not going to change your relationship with your dog. Now, if you're constant, huh?
If it's a fair correction.
That's what I'm saying. If you're not constantly getting on him or yelling at him or whatever, if you're doing everything right, I mean, I've legit had to correct him before where he was, I scruffed him.
Sure.
Because he ran down the street. I didn't want him to get hit by a car. Certain things like that, I'm real big on, okay, it's either my dog get hit by a car or I correct my dog. But I bet he never did that again.
And when you're looking for correction, the first form of correction you need, or discipline, because that's all a correction is. Except a correction, look this up in the dictionary, folks, check it on Google.
Yeah, let me Google it.
A correction should actually help or change a behavior.
Where's Google?
I think it says, look it up.
I'm looking it
A
up.
correction
What
should-
am I looking at? What is correction? Or
Yeah, the correction definition.
Okay.
I believe it's going to say something to the effect that a correction is something that changes a behavior. It's not a
What
punishment.
is the definition of correction?
It's not a punishment. It's not discipline. It's something that changes a behavior. And the first form of correction that a pup receives is when he crawls up to the soda fountain and he's got them sharp milk teeth all of a sudden going in and he latches on and mama dog goes, ah! And she pins him right by his neck. And they never forget that form of correction. So popping a collar, a soft, nice, soft leather collar, doing pop on the neck reminds them, oh, something's not right. So your corrections don't have to be harsh.
I can do my correction on a regular flat collar.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can just legit tell my dog, no.
There you go.
And he's like, yes, Mom. I mean,
She's timed it perfectly. No, enough times followed by physical correction. No becomes a correction.
can you put both of us on there? I feel like you're focusing on him. I want to be part of it.
I've been zooming in on whoever's talking, and then
We're
whenever,
both talking.
There you go.
well, when y'all have a conversation, I get both of y'all in.
Because I'm not going to walk over here and be like, hey, camera.
Agent Butters is.
I want to be part of this,
She's a new
too.
cameraman, so
You're not
make sure
existent.
she's part of it. Did you get it?
Oh, yeah, I got it. So it's the change that rectifies an error or inaccuracy.
It's a change that rectifies.
I said all those words right? I said it right.
Yes, you did.
I did, but I had like 5 minutes to go over it. Because English is not my strong suit. We know that. That's why I'm a dog trainer.
She used to say it wasn't her first language, and I asked her what her first language was,
I
and she
didn't
didn't
know.
know. So
It is what it is.
it is what it is. So there it is. A correction, if these dog trainers are going to use it properly, is not discipline. It's not ouch. What a positive correction could possibly be, I don't know.
That's like your dog biting you. You push him off
Yeah, I
the
guess
tree.
maybe that's.
I guess
yeah.
that's a positive.
Maybe that's a positive correction.
Yeah. I mean, correcting your dog properly will not affect your relationship with your dog at all.
No.
And I think people think that, or
Yeah, a lot of people
I mean, and so I think that's why these trainers that are all positive, they have so many views
Yeah.
and so many people following them. But when I watch it, it takes every ounce of whatever I have in me not to laugh.
Yeah. And so. remember-
Nothing against you trainers, I'm just saying.
So remember this, if you just essentially all a well-trained dog is one that's been communicated with properly.
Mhm.
If you communicate with your dog, you're speaking English, his mama taught him Doglish, you've heard me say this before. Teach him enough English, and he's gonna be, because dogs are born trying to please man, period.
Mhm. My dog loves when he pleases me. I mean,
So, common sense, if you don't understand, if you're looking for a trainer, and then,
a lot of people lack that these days, but that's why I laugh. Okay, go ahead.
oh, like that, okay, yeah, okay, well, if you're having a problem finding a trainer, call me or Carrie, we'll be able to. But no, just, if you don't understand exactly the terminology and phrases that this dog trainer is throwing at you, you need a gut check. And remember, dogs are smart enough, I believe, that in this country, most dogs learn not because of a trainer, they learn in spite of a trainer.
Yeah. Can I say
They
something?
figure it out. Now, Carrie's got the floor. Put the camera on Carrie.
Sorry, were you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I just want to say.
Last word.
Well, I just want to say real quick too. I took my dog to a dog and they legit ruined her. I didn't do my research, but I didn't know no better. And he had a good thing. They force your dog into the position they want them to be instead of luring them. Or we do lure system, which treats and stuff. But the guy had a good thing. He said, "Well, do you want to always carry a pocket full of treats?" And I was like, "Well, no, I don't always have a pocket full of treats." So he said, they would force my dog into the positions like bang her down into down and yank her around into heel. That dog hated me and started biting me. And now we have a good relationship now because
The only creature that's ever hated Carrie. I always said, go ahead, Carrie.
So, I mean, but we have a good relationship now, but she loves her daddy more, even though I spent more time with her and did the training with her because I didn't do it the right way. I went to a trainer that ruined her. She started lunging at kids. She hated people. She started attacking dogs. I mean, until I came to Butch, Butch fixed her. I mean, she's still an a-hole. But Butch fixed her for the most part. Now she loves kids. She loves people. She loves dogs. But just taking them to the wrong people will ruin your dog. So please do your research before you. If you don't bring them here, that's fine. Take them to somebody that knows what they're doing. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
That's all she wanted to say, and I guess all I want to say is, if you ain't having fun,
You ain't training dogs. And if your dog ain't having fun, well, you're doing it wrong.
there you go. Thanks. See you guys next week.
Do I just hit the X at the top?
I guess.
Are we done?